Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our Ask Me Anything session for today. We still have some folks dialing in, so I'll go ahead and give everyone just a little bit of time and then we'll be back. Okay, we are just a couple of minutes past, so we'll go ahead and get started. Once again, thank you everyone for joining our Ask Me Anything session for today. My name is Carol Kennedy. I'm an account manager with SwipeLock, and on the line I have Ellen Benzine and my coworker Brandon. Brandon will be assisting with some questions today. Our topic for today will be Recruit Library Function Review. So we'll go ahead and do a high-level overview of the library and the capabilities there. And then afterwards, we'll go ahead and open up the floor to questions. Those questions don't have to be related to that topic. They can be kind of anything applicant stack. We do ask that we keep the questions kind of general in nature. If it's something very specific to your account or if you're configured in a unique fashion, we can certainly take those questions offline. We did also want to mention we have an Indeed webinar coming up on Tuesday, March 28th from 12 to 1 Mountain Time, 2 to 3 Eastern Time. I believe there is or will be a link coming in the chat section for that. So we're very excited to have that upcoming. Indeed, we'll be presenting to everyone. So we encourage you and would love it if you would attend that webinar as well. So with that, I'll go ahead and hop into my demo account. And up at the top, you should see, depending on your access in the system, the library functionality. And the library in Recruit will be where you'll house anything you think you might use time and time again. And that's going to save you some time as you navigate through the system. Perhaps you're creating jobs or attaching questionnaires to those jobs. It's really going to help you streamline your process. So as you can see on the left, we have a number of items available here. We're just going to go one by one and walk through those items for you. So you can see to start, we have our job templates. So when you go to create a job, you'll be presented with an option. You can either start from scratch or you can go ahead and use a template. So if you have a job that you think you might be recruiting for again in the future, we would encourage you to go ahead and create that here as a template. So if you click on Create Template over on the right, you'll be prompted for a name for that job template, probably your job title. And then you'll be prompted to complete some information. Your particular screen might look a little different than mine, depending on what fields you have set up in your system. But perhaps you want to populate department. Where is that job located? Is that a full-time or a part-time job? And so forth. You'll populate that information. You will come down to the bottom and populate your job description. So perhaps you want to copy paste that in. You can go ahead and do some formatting to that job description up at the top. And when you're done, you'll just want to click Save, and that will populate in your job list. And again, when you go to create a new job, you'll be prompted. You'll have an option to select that template, and that will be available for you, should save you some time. Coming down to questionnaires, These could be questions for your applicant to complete. It could be questions for you to complete, or even, let's say, a third party if you're doing a reference check. Perhaps you want to automate that and send them some questions for completion. This individual has provided you as a reference. Would you please complete these questions? So I've handpicked just a few just to go through. We have an application for employment available for you to use. This is our standard application. You are able to attach that to any job that you would like. We even have a system setting where you can attach it to every job automatically. But we just have some personal information questions. What type of employment are you seeking? When are you available to begin? Education, they can populate that. They'll be able to add a school if they need to. Employment history, they can add an employer, references, and authorization. Okay, so again, that should be in your library and available for you to use. Let's come down. Once we're a little bit further along in our process, maybe we have an interview process or an interview evaluation form to be completed as part of your process. So let's just take a quick peek at this. Keep in mind, you can always create your own new questionnaire. You can edit this one. You can even clone it and make a copy if you want to make some changes to it. It's very flexible, but this is just a template that we've provided to you. So maybe after the interview, you want to come in and rank the candidate based on different areas, make a recommendation, second interview, possible candidate, do not hire, and so forth. And you can populate some notes into that evaluation form. One item that I used as a recruiter was a phone screen form, so I could have some questions jotted down for myself that I would typically ask, so I didn't forget to ask those questions. So I just have a multi-line text box opened up. Why are you currently seeking a new opportunity? What's your time frame look like? Let's talk about your background. So I could open that up, speak with my candidate, populate that as I was speaking with them, and that all tracks with the candidate record. Two more quick items, similar idea. We have a reference check form. So if you're calling references, you could populate this or you could send that out to a third party for completion. And we also have, if you're collecting EEO data, those questionnaires are available here as well in the library. Okay, so that's a pretty good overview of questionnaires, very flexible. Again, any questions you need to ask your candidate, anything you want to populate, that is available for you to use. Coming down to messages, we have templates for your emails. If you're using a pretty consistent message, you can go ahead and create that as a template. If you are using texting capabilities, we have the option for you to have a texting template as well. So since I have both turned on in interview requests, I'd like to review that. We'll just come in and you will see here is your email. I'm under email template. We have merge codes available for you. So you can see in brackets, candidate first name. That's going to automatically populate the candidate's first name for me, so I'm not having to type that in. And those merge codes are available here at the bottom. You can pull in the candidate name, perhaps a job title. Thank you for applying for this job, and that will automatically populate for you. You'll just want to give that a subject line, and you can delay that. Let's say it's a rejection email. Maybe you want to delay that by an hour so that the candidate feels like you had an appropriate time frame to review their application. And coming over, you can create a text message template as well. Same idea, merge codes are available. You can also copy text from email as plain text. If you have an email template already available, you can quickly copy that over. Okay, I'm going to come back to our library. Tasks and events are reminders of an upcoming action item or perhaps an interview. A task is just a general reminder. It's not really date and time bound, but let's say I want to set a phone screen reminder for myself. I can go ahead and populate some notes. Remember to give this candidate a call, complete that phone screen with them. I could assign it to myself or another user in the system. We can attach that phone screen form questionnaire for completion, and we can have an email reminder sent out until that item gets completed. Okay, events would be more date and time bound, similar idea, but slightly different. So maybe you have different types of interviews. Maybe let's go into our Durham office interview. We have specific instructions. So once you come to the front door, please ask the receptionist to give somebody a call. One of the offices I worked in had a phone on the wall. So please go to the phone on the wall and call this individual. So you could set that up by location or however you want to designate that. Again, you'll assign it to the users that will impact. You can schedule a time or invite your candidates to select a time. And we can assign the interview feedback form and have a reminder go out until the team completes that information. And the last item we have would be documents. The most common example of what you might use this for that I can think of would be an offer letter. We did have an Ask Me Anything not too long ago about offer letters and how to send those, so I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but let's go ahead and edit that. We can go ahead and give that a name, so maybe you have part-time, full-time, location, however you want to differentiate those offer letters, you'll give that a name. You can upload an image, perhaps a logo up at the top, and then you will insert your merge codes, your candidate name, and you will create merge fields. So you can add a merge field. These will be the items that you'll be prompted to complete later. So your start date will be, your pay rate will be, you will have so many days of PTO. Back on the candidate record, you'll be able to create that document, populate those fields, and send that to them electronically. So let me go ahead and back that up. Let me click on offer letter example just to show you. Here is that logo. And again, here is our offer letter. So again, this is very, very standard boilerplate. Yours is going to look different than mine, but this is just an example. So that would be our documents functionality. So with that, we'll go ahead, we'll open up the floor for questions. Again, it doesn't have to be related to the library, it can be anything ApplicantStack, and we will do our best to answer those for you.
Okay, the first question has come in, and the question is from Megan Lay. Is the hourly rate on the application supposed to show on the dashboard column options?
On the dashboard option. So Brandon, do you think that refers to the pipeline summary up top, or?
I think it refers to the candidate table.
The candidate dashboard.
Yeah.
You can set up a field in your settings to track pay. Is that something that's populated by the candidate or populated by the employer? If it's something that you're populating, you can create a field for that in your setup, and then you could come in here and populate that. You would set field. I don't know if I have one for pay rate just now, but you could go ahead and create that. Let's go ahead and show you where to do that. Setup, to configure, to candidate fields. And then you would simply create a field. It could be pay rate, something of that sort. You would set that to show on your candidate table. And then you would see that as an option, and you would go ahead and set field and populate that information. So as an example.
Carol, her initial question was, is it supposed to show on the column? And I think the answer, maybe she's concerned about some privacy there. So could you just show how you can make it a field but still make it not show on the column, or how you would set that?
Again, this would be something that you would be populating. If it's something that the candidate is populating as they're coming into the system, we would have to take a look at where that's set up and how that's set up. But let's go ahead and take a quick peek.
Oh, she's clarifying. She's talking about the wage that the candidate is asking for.
That they're asking for. Okay, if that is an item on the employment application or in a questionnaire, let's take a quick peek. I don't know if you can set those. Well, let's see. We can make the entire questionnaire private. So it's only available in reports. I'm not sure if we want to do that, but that might be something. Ellen, do you know by chance? Is that something? Can we hide field?
Yeah, so I'm wondering though if what Megan is asking about is a candidate field requesting what their desired salary is.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is a candidate field, then that would show on the
She wants to be able to see it on the candidate table.
Yeah, so I think it would have to be a candidate field, because running a report, you could always capture that information too. But the candidate, if that information has been captured during the initial candidate application process, then that would show on the candidate table. Did that just make sense?
Yeah, I believe so. If it's included as a questionnaire question, though, I'm not sure if we can just make one question out of a questionnaire private.
No, scrap the privacy comment. She wants to be able to see what the candidates are asking for, what wages they're asking for, and she wants that to come from their application and show up on the candidate table.
Oh, so they're not inputting it twice.
So that the recruiters or hiring managers can see at a glance what wage they're asking for, I believe.
Okay, yeah, so I'm looking at the series of questions too. Megan, we will get you an answer. We are getting there. So they request what salary, what is the candidate's desired salary on their application. But when it's on the application, it's not automatically included on the candidate table. Okay, we're getting yeses, so I think that's the clarification that we finally, it only took 3 of us, Megan. So that information, if you collect salary requested information on your application, it is not going to show on your candidate table. You'd have to create, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brandon or Carol, you'd have to create a candidate field and then input that information manually if you didn't want the candidate to input it twice.
Correct. Candidate field would be a system setting, so everyone would have to answer that question.
Yeah,
I think this through, but yeah, it won't feed from the employment application over to the candidate table here.
Right. So, Carol, can you click on Nathan Williams? Let's see if he's answered an employment application.
Yep. Let's go over to. No, I think George Blake has one. Bear with me.
Okay.
Maybe not.
Okay, but if, as an example, if they had completed an employment application that requested salary information, requested desired salary, it would be down below, Megan, under, questionnaires. But again, it's not automatically going to create that information in the candidates table.
But it's just one click away.
Correct. All right, let's see, she's responded. Then it was asking it twice of the employee. Yeah, okay. Now, what you could do if you wanted to do it this way, Megan, is you could take that questionnaire out of your, the question out of your employment application and include it as a candidate field so that they would be inputting it once. And if you include it as a candidate field, it could then show on your candidates table. And if you need any assistance on taking a question out of a questionnaire, aha, Megan, you and I are thinking the same. So Megan's follow-up question is, do I just submit a request to make a change to the application through a ticket? Yes, you do. So if your employment application is locked down, then yes, our technical support team can eliminate that question, and then you could add a candidate field. Okay, we got an okay from Megan, so I think we're all good there.
Yay.
Carol, while we're seeing if additional questions are coming in, I did want to ask you to show one thing. So when you need a job and you said you can cut and paste the job description, tips and tricks are to paste that job description as plain text so that no formatting comes in from an outside software like Microsoft Word, because Microsoft Word has unique formatting. And if you include that formatting, the job description can get skewed. So if you go, Carol, trying to think of the best means of getting there to, how about just create a job? And then scroll down to the text. Okay, right there. So you'll see those three icons to the left. Yes. So the best thing to do is if you're cutting and pasting a job description from an outside source is to paste it as plain text and then use the formatting there to format it from within ApplicantStack. Just a little tip and trick there.
Thank you, Ellen. I believe I've also heard you can copy paste into Notepad for a similar idea, and then copy back into here. But yeah, that's a great suggestion.
Okay. And let's see if additional questions have come in.
Yeah, we've got one from Anya Walker. Hi, can you save resumes on a closed job?
Okay, when you say save resumes, are you looking to add a resume to a candidate, or I'm not sure, open the resume and save it to your desktop? You should always be able to open, regardless of what stage they're in, you can open their candidate profile and save their resume to your desktop, I believe is the question.
Anya, could you add a little color to that question for us?
Yeah, you could either come into their resume, I believe, and you hit Control P and print to PDF. To save that, you can export a candidate using the export functionality. That will get it out in the format it came in, so Word or PDF. So there's a few different ways to do that. But yes, you can get the resume out of the system even if they're in a closed status.
She says she thinks she understands now.
Okay, fantastic.
No other questions so far, Carol.
Hi.
So do you mind going back to your ApplicantStack homepage? Because you had mentioned, Carol, that Indeed hosted webinar on March 28th. And there is a link to that on everybody's homepage, that first link up top.
Oh, there we go. I passed it.
Yep. So if you haven't registered for that yet, there's a quick means in order to do so. You might be getting marketing information from our marketing department as well. But our Indeed partner will be conducting that. And the topic of that webinar is how to successfully launch your jobs to Indeed, as well as how to successfully sponsor them if you want to do that. So it's going to be a really excellent webinar. I had mentioned on another webinar last week that we met with the partner, and her slide deck is excellent. And I think, again, all of her tips will assist all of our customers in successfully launching jobs to Indeed.
And we also have some upcoming webinars, which will provide an overview of our recruit system and our onboard system. Those are listed here as well.
Okay, the next questions come through from Ben Bray. It's about reporting. Can one report be run against data from multiple specific jobs or job IDs. For example, report on candidate information from any finance job. Carol and Ellen, are you okay if I unmute Ben and you can clarify his question if you would like?
Yes, I'm definitely not the expert on reports. So if you're looking for a specific report, you can certainly pull a new report, or we have some existing reports here. So I'm trying to think what might be a relevant report that might pull what you're looking for. But if you're looking for a report, if you could submit a technical support ticket and just let them know exactly what you need, they can certainly assist you better than I can with how to pull that report, or perhaps if it can be built with our standard report builder, they can help you with that. If it's something that is a little bit more involved and our development team needs to get involved, we can certainly take a look at that and what that would entail. But I would encourage you to go ahead and if you're looking for a particular report, maybe send a sample spreadsheet of what items you're looking for. You can, let's go into create report. You'll give that a name. Go ahead and give it a description. Are you looking for job information? Probably you're looking for a detail report, and then you'll just pull over. So if you're looking for a job name, job title, you can pull that over into your report. Job type, information of that sort. And if you're looking for candidate information, you'll go ahead and change over to candidates. Same idea, you'll pull over what you're looking for, candidate name, from the job field, job title. From the general questions, we want to pull in when they answered that, when that was submitted, well, maybe that's not a great question, minimum salary requirements. So you'll just come field by field and drag over what you were looking for.
So Ben, if I've unmuted you from our end, if you can unmute yourself, then you would be able to speak freely and maybe clarify what you're asking for. But what Carol just showed is if it is a job field, meaning, so if you wanted to specify the type of job that you're listing and you had a finance category of job, then you can run a report based on just the finance jobs.
Mm-hmm. And yes, you can filter on jobs. So the report would need to include a filter. So part of our report functionality is filtering and grouping. But again, a filter can be created, Ben, so that you can search for information on specific jobs. And in your case, it looks like on any finance jobs.
Okay, thank you. That actually clarified and spoke directly to the question. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. So thanks for bearing with us. Reports are a little bit trickier, a little bit more technical. So our support team we can show you the basics, but our support team is going to be your best resource for how to actually build that and get it correct.
Carol, while we're waiting for other questions to come in, one of the things that you touched upon was the ability for HR professionals to complete phone screen questionnaires and reference check questionnaires from within the candidate record. Do you mind showing that? Because that's a function that I don't know how many of our users actually do that within the candidate record. So if you go to like George and click on feedback.
Yeah, I just want to point out the difference between the two because it's a little subtle. So answers would be any answers that the candidate provided. So here's that minimum salary question that we kind of highlighted earlier. Feedback will be feedback from your team. So we have a few different options. We can add feedback here, put a comment in, give them a rating. Okay, or you can open that questionnaire from here and submit that. So interview evaluation form 2. We can complete that right here. Okay, and we can see here's that phone screen form that In theory, we completed, so I just have some test data in here. Here's an interview evaluation form. So that information would be tracked if you ever have an audit or a question, why did you hire this candidate over another? We have all that backup information right here.
And to add to that, what I always found when I was recruiting is that hiring managers typically are very good at what they are hired to do. Frequently, they're not great at interviewing. So hiring managers can complete these interview evaluation forms as well, all from within ApplicantStack. And what that does is two things. You're giving them a guide in order to conduct a professional interview, and the guide also provides consistent feedback. So again, if you're audited for any reason as to why you chose one candidate over another, and interview evaluation questionnaires are used and completed from within ApplicantStack, you've got that information all in one central location.
Correct. And you can also, for compliance, control what questions are being asked.
Right.
Just so that they're asking legal questions, questions approved by HR, that will kind of help guide them through that.
Right. And I found guiding hiring managers, and this is not, reflecting on anybody in particular, but providing guidance, really, actually, I'm saying to hiring managers, but even recruiters and HR professionals need guidance in interviewing. And again, all of that can be completed from within the candidate record. It's then housed there for everybody to see, for all ApplicantStack users to see. Brandon, there's another question coming in.
Yes, okay. Another one from Megan. She says, I see a score column on my candidate dashboard. Where does this data come from?
When you set up a questionnaire, so let's go ahead and let's pretend we're creating a new job. We'll come into my accounting manager job. We will come over to questions. So you would attach any position-specific questions that you have. So let's say accounting manager questions. And then when you come over to scoring, you can create rules for that. Let's select our questionnaire, our accounting manager questions. And here we have it. Do you have a degree? Let's say that's required and the candidate answers no. That can be a KO or a knockout. If they answer yes, we want to give them some points for that. Same idea for experience, maybe for increasing levels, we give them increasing point values. Maybe if we think they're too qualified, we can take some points away there. So you'll assign that. And then once the candidate completes that, that will calculate a score for you. If I come back to my candidate screen, let me just open these filters up to make sure we get some good examples. Okay, and then you should be scoring. I may need to scroll over to find that. Here it is. Here's a KO, there's a knockout. So that means they answered a question that took them out of consideration, and here is one with the score. So if I click on this header here, I need to maybe zoom out a little bit to make this easier to navigate, but I have quite a few columns here. You can see who has a little bit higher score than candidates with a little bit lower score. Maybe you want to focus your attention on your higher scoring candidates and save yourself some time. Okay, so you'll just set those questions up, set your scoring, and then as the candidate answers them, the system's going to calculate that score for you. I would always just double check and verify if I had a KO. You could come into that candidate profile, what question it was. It's possible they misclicked or just answered that incorrectly. So I would just verify. It's up to you. If you want to, yeah, I don't want to say trust it, but you know, things happen. Candidates click the wrong thing. If there's a lot of questions, just maybe verify if they have a degree or not before you discount them for that job.
Great explanation, Carol. Megan says that it's all good now and she gets it.
Okay, fantastic.
And Carol, would you also explain how you would toggle on and off viewing that scoring or viewing the knockout on the candidate grid, the candidate?
Yeah, on the candidate view, so I mentioned that, mine's getting a little bit much. I'm having to scroll over, as you can see, but you can adjust your columns. And if there's something you want to see or not see, you can click that on or off, and then that will hide that from your view. If you're just getting a little excessive with your columns, you can remove some.
I don't see any other questions coming in.
No.
We'll give another 10 seconds if anyone's typing, and then we'll wrap it up and give everyone some time back.
And I will want to say, Carol and Brandon, that the purpose of the Ask Me Anything hour is to share functionality, ApplicantStack functionality. So if there is something that we've reviewed that you've got additional questions on, or how it might be set up properly in your account, the best thing to do is to create a technical support ticket. And you do that by clicking the white question mark in the upper right-hand corner. And then from the drop down, you choose Ask a Question. And so the technical support, your question will be routed to a technical support representative or your account manager. So again, we provide a lot of information on these webinars. So feel free to submit a ticket if you do have additional questions on what we've been discussing.
Okay, any further questions come in?
Okay, I'm chiming in again. Sorry, but Lauren from marketing did put the link into the Indeed webinar on 328 in the chat as well.
Okay, all right. We hope to see everyone there. And with that, I think we'll go ahead and call it. But again, thank you everyone for attending, and we look forward to seeing you in the future. Enjoy the rest.
Oh, wait, there might be one more that just came in.
Oh, okay.
I saw a hand go up, but no, okay.
Okay. All right.
I think we're good. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. Thanks, everyone. We'll go ahead and end. But thanks so much for joining.
Bye-bye.